My name is Marina Calderon, and silence was the only language that kept peace in my family. When I spoke, my father's gaze sharpened, and my mother's hands shook, so I learned to swallow everything. I kept shrinking, waiting for love that didn't come with terms. It never came. By the time I admitted that, something in me had already cracked. So when Rafael Calderon stood in the San Diego County Courthouse and called me a disgrace, I didn't defend myself. I watched him, steady as stone, and let the truth stand where my voice used to. The room smelled of old wood and dust. Benches were packed, neighbors, reporters, strangers hungry for a scene. My father's fingers trembled on the rail. She manipulated her mother, he said, tricked her into changing the will. I stood in a plain black suit, hands clasped, the only color a small gold anchor pinned to my collar. It caught a thin blade of sun, then faded. Judge Marisol Kent held him in her gaze. When she spoke, her voice was quiet, but it shut the room like a door. "Sir," she said, "you really don't know, do you?" Confusion pinched my father's face. The court clerk shifted papers. Someone coughed. Nobody else breathed. I'd heard that kind of control in my mother's silence. After her funeral, in our peeling house on I Avenue, I opened the stuck drawer beneath her little altar and found an envelope. "For Marina, if your father turns on you, remember this. Truth doesn't ask for permission." That night, my brother Diego texted, "Dad hired Gideon Salazar. Motion filed to strip your license." I set the phone down, touched the anchor, and stopped being silent. Salazar arrived like a man returning to a room he'd been banished from. Tailored suit, easy smile, eyes that didn't blink when they lied. He leaned close to my father, murmuring as if feeding him lines to keep his spine straight. When Judge Kent called the matter, Salazar rose. "This court is here because Lieutenant Commander Marina Calderon abused her authority to coerce her dying mother into rewriting her will." He said my rank like it was poison. A bailiff played his exhibit, a phone recording, my voice threaded with hospital static. I heard myself say, "I'll take care of it." Then my mother, thin and exhausted, "I'm tired, Marina." The gallery rustled. Pity, judgment, the quick pleasure of strangers. My father stared as if the audio proved I'd been born wrong. I kept my hands folded. The anchor pin pressed cool against my throat. I knew that recording. It came from restricted logs at Balboa, sealed under privacy law. Salazar didn't just find it. He broke into it. Judge Kent's gavel tapped once. "Order." Her eyes moved to me. "Miss Calderon, do you wish to respond?" I stood. My mouth tasted like pennies. "Not yet, Your Honor. The truth doesn't need my panic." Salazar's smile twitched, then reset. At the close, Judge Kent said, "Submit your service file for verification." Full. The word landed heavy. Commendations, investigations, deployments, the case that had ended Salazar's career. In the corridor, my father blocked me, breath sour with old anger. "You think medals make you better than blood?" "No," I said. "They remind me I survived it." That night, Naval Command warned my clearance could expose classified work. I typed back 2 words, "Approve release," and waited for morning. At dawn, a courier handed me a sealed folder. Inside, my record and the disciplinary file on Gideon Salazar, signed years ago by Judge Marisol Kent. I slid my mother's letter between the pages and drove to court that morning. The benches were packed. Salazar stood, voice polished. She profited from her mother's death. Judge Kent cut him off. "Whose credentials accessed Balboa's restricted call archive on May 14th? He hesitated. The clerk read the audit entry. Salazar's username. The room emptied of sound. My father's jaw went slack. Kent's gaze stayed on Salazar. "You were not given that recording. You stole it." Salazar tried to smile. It broke. I rose. "My mother, Elena Calderon, changed her will with witnesses and counsel. She wrote this after." I read the sentence I'd carried like a stone. Truth doesn't ask for permission, and then the faint line beneath it. He will use grief as a leash. Cut it. I handed up the notarized will certificate and the hospice nurse's statement. Ink signatures, dates, solid things. My father looked from the documents to Salazar. "You told me she bullied her," he whispered. Salazar said nothing. That was answer enough. Judge Kent's voice turned steel. "Motion to disqualify denied. Petition dismissed with prejudice. Mr. Salazar is referred to the bar." The gavel snapped, final as a door latch. In the corridor, my father stopped me. He seemed smaller without his fury. He held out a box. My mother's wedding ring rested inside. "She wanted you to have it," he said. I placed the anchor pin beside the ring and felt a silence that didn't cage me. It opened.